The U.S. Navy SEALs' ability to infiltrate and attack from under the water sets them apart from other elite units operating in the world today. But is it possible that the ancient covert operatives used the same techniques thousands of years ago? There are legends of a covert weapon known as the Emei Ci.
It's really like a long needle, and in that respect it parallels the Italian stiletto. If you watch a lot of American gangster films, they use ice picks. It's exactly the same thing.
The Emei Ci is a mysterious weapon that is not listed in traditional ancient Chinese military manuals. According to legends, it was developed in the sacred mountains of Emei in central China during the Song dynasty, between the 10th and 13th centuries.
These are the Emei Ci. They work on a simple level. They can spin on a 360-degree axis. It allows me to move them, so here I gain a lot more force behind my punches and obviously for stabbing and slashing motions.
Water was a major guerrilla combat terrain for Song soldiers and its enemies. All major ancient Chinese towns and cities were built around rivers, lakes, and paddy fields. Soldiers and assassins operating in these areas are alleged to have used the Emei Ci as a weapon to take out sentries who patrolled the buildings and ships on the water's edge.
As a stealth weapon, it's easily concealed. It's kind of like the modern commando knife that you see Navy SEALs and Royal Marines use nowadays. It doesn't have the same edge, but it is utilized very easily in exactly the same way.
The question researchers are attempting to answer: how were the needles actually used by Chinese covert forces in sentry removal? The killer would target a sentry standing near or in the water, where the 10-inch steel needles with a flat rhombus point are said to hold an advantage. Its design allows the fighter to maneuver stealthily under the cover of the water, retaining his hand dexterity and movement, which a longer weapon would not allow. The ancient assassin would have used the sharp points of the needles to stab and slash unprotected arteries.
The subclavian and the femoral arteries are very much in exposed areas. As such, would be easy to target. If they targeted these areas and they'd driven one of these Emei Ci needles into the artery, it'd be very difficult for the artery to close. If you managed to get them in between the ribs, the lungs would deflate so that the combatant can't breathe.
To complete their analysis of the Emei Ci, the team will investigate the advantages it holds against a longer weapon in a water combat situation. On land, a small weapon like the Emei Ci would be no match for longer weapons because of their extended range and heavier weight. But the team will find out if this is the case in water. As the team is discovering, a long weapon that requires two hands to create its power is virtually impossible to use effectively against an enemy in the water.
The attempts of the practitioner to try and penetrate the water with the weapon was very, very difficult because of all the resistance. This thing almost hydroplaned across the top of the water and lost all its power. The results are that the Emei Ci is indeed a very effective underwater weapon. Very much the ultimate stealth weapon in that time.